Jesus, they make this so damn difficult. There we are. There we are. I think. Let me go back. No. There we go. There, finally. Jesus. Hey, Adam. Thank you. Just getting things organized here with the phone. Unfortunately. Hey, there we are. All right, very cool. Okay, so the next project will be, let me make sure you can hear here. Unfortunately. Oh, yes, you can hear here. Hey, Oscar. Hey, Adam. So the next project, as you may be able to see, adding this to my track and this box right here, which you can see for sure. But before that, we will have to do, very cool sound. Glad the sound is good. Before that, it will be painted this color. This is the Scaleauto track, and I still do want to have a hybrid kind of, well, not hybrid track, but a track that has Carrera and Scaleauto in it. So this just arrived from Amazon from the Jinbing high temperature temperature PVC fine line masking tape, green, 4 millimeters. It is masking tape. It's as close as I could find to the Carrera rail width. There we go. Hey, Gary. Hey, Mike. Thanks everybody for showing up. I really appreciate it. So, I mean, we don't really need to get this out right yet, but what we do need to get out is this bad dad. This thing's been hanging around in my vicinity for a while now. Hey, Slot Car Hub. Thanks for showing up. I appreciate it. Early morning where you are, right? Oh boy. Okay, so we're moving this out of the way for now. This is a box from Carrera. And hey, Chris. Thanks for showing up. I appreciate it. Hey, okay, whoa. Boy. Whoa, man, this is large. This is a large box. Hey, it's the right thing. Cool. I hadn't opened this obviously until now. This is the original track piece that I have the one of the originals for. The one that I have is the prototype, is the first one that was in the US, one of the first ones that was made. And I don't want to paint it, and it's not complete either. And I wanted a complete one too. Wow, slightly mad. Hey guys. Oh, 1 p.m. Oh, it's perfect time then. Yeah, it's 10. What the hell time is it here? 9:30, 9:25. Hey, Ride Out. Cheers. Awesome stuff you got there, Ride Out. So, this is the whole chicane, the whole shebang, the kit, the caboodle, the caboose. I'll drop that. All of it. So, what we're going to do is we're going to make our list and check it twice. See who's been naughty or nice. I may or may not use the border on the track because I don't drive 124 scale very much, and I want to make sure that that if I put this on for 132nd only, that that the cars are going to have enough runoff, which I think it should. Yeah. So, and yeah, so I think it probably will. So what I'm going to do, and I might as well just start this right now, is I got some of this tape, which hopefully Carrera rail is about 4 millimeters wide. This looks exact. So with my completely unskilled taping skills, there we go. Maybe PVC tape. This feels pretty thick. I'm going to mask off the rails so I can paint it. Paint the tape. Hey, wow, that's really high. Let's scoot you down so you can see. Oh. Yeah. Scoot you down so you can see, maybe. See how it looks here in a second. There we go. Yeah, so the idea is to mask the rail so I can paint it. I have some, boy, should I clean these first? Nah, probably not. That would be too much like what an adult would do. Why not just blunder in and fuck everything up? Oops, did I say that? Yeah, so the idea is to mask off the rails. So when I paint this track dark gray to match the Scaleauto track, and I know this is definitely not the way that professionals do masking, but that would confuse me with a professional. Yeah, it's to mask this off and make it look a little closer to the Scaleauto stuff. It also might pick up a little grip then too, which would be all right in my book. But to be fair though, I have had no issues now with the Carrera track. It is a little slipperier than the Scaleauto track now, but hey, that's not horrendous. I mean, it is horrendous, but it's not all that horrendous. Yeah, see there, it's a little more horrendous. Trying to get this just on the rail with 0.5 millimeter of tolerance, just so the rail is not going to get painted too. That's all I care about. Is it coming up? Nope, staying down. Awesome. Yeah, I got this from Amazon, this tape. I did try to get Tamiya. Get skewered in the comments about me saying that wrong, I'm sure. So, yeah, I bought this brand because I wanted exactly 4 millimeters, and frankly, this looks like it's exactly the right width for a Carrera rail to mask. That's not horrendous. That is not horrendous. Where the hell did my knife, my knife go? There it is. There we are. Look at that. Live and in person. Yeah. Old guy clearing his throat in full effect here. Yeah, so that's that worked. Shit. She is green. Cool. Hey, Dojo. Yeah, guys, hit the like button if you don't mind. That would be really awesome. And like I said on my post, it'd be really cool if you all would... a lot of folks aren't actually subscribed to the page, even if you do come back a lot. So make sure you hit the sub button. I mean, if you already have, then that's then fantastic. Then just ignore what I'm saying. But if you haven't, please, if you just find the videos kind of just as they're suggested to you, or maybe, you know, I post them online or whatever, um, then yeah, subscribing to the channel helps quite a bit. And also follow Slot Car News on Facebook, because I post things pretty much as I see them. Oh, and guys, there's a T-shirt that we have available for sale on blipshift.com. It is a 510, the Pete Brock 510 Datsun T-shirt, and wowzers, it looks good. I ordered one as soon as I saw it last night, and I am thrilled that we're getting this T-shirt. I've been really holding off. There was a whole lot of Group C stuff that I didn't get. There was a whole lot of other stuff that I saw was pretty cool, but I'm like, nah, I'll hold out until there's something I really want. And sure enough, I really wanted this. There we go. Two done. 2 rails, 1 slot. Done. Jesus. Going faster than I thought. That's fun. Yeah, it's plastic. It's what do they call this? PVC? PVC fine line masking tape green. Is there a what? Oh, man, this heart thing is like over that question. Dave, is there an email to ask questions or whatever? Not really. I do get a lot of questions, and I do what I can, but it's really hard to. It's really hard. I'm not. It's hard for me to. It's hard for me to answer everybody, and you know I kind of can't be tech support for all these companies, and I'm getting so many emails that are tech support questions for like Carrera and stuff, and I don't mind answering people, but I don't really have a lot of extra time uh, to do some of this, to do some email answering. So if you don't mind, you can answer. You can ask the question here. You can ask the question here. That'd be fine. Um, Also, a good place to ask questions is Home Racing World, homeracingworld.com, and Home Racing World, the forum, the Home Racing World forum. Not the page on Facebook or the group on Facebook for the actual forum for Home Racing World. It's a great place. Harry runs a really tight ship. He does not allow a lot of shenanigans as far as off-topic stuff. He doesn't allow inappropriate, inappropriate locker room talk stuff, whatever. So yeah, Brian. Yeah, like I said, slotcarnews@yahoo.com. What am I doing to my track dojo? I'm replacing the Carrera chicane corner with this new Carrera chicane corner. The one I have doesn't have all the pieces to it, technically, and it also is the first one, or one of the first ones. I didn't want to paint it, and I asked Carrera if they'd send me this one. They're like, absolutely, sure, whatever. And I'm going to paint this so it matches the gray of the Scaleauto track, so it all kind of blends together a little better than shop talk, exactly. However you want to put it, guys. So I just got this tape from Amazon, as I've said a couple times, but I'll gladly repeat it. Is it upside? Nope, yeah, it's right side up. It was, I think, $4 for 2 rolls of this stuff. So it's like 60 meters. It's like 18, I don't know. It's a lot. It's many, many meters. I don't know how many in freedom units. It's probably like 30 feet in freedom units. But in meters, God, I don't know. I don't know. Regardless, doesn't matter. So, yeah. So I still don't know if I'm going to India. I now have been put off and put off and put off by 3 different websites, 4 different websites, and I have a call with I'm not really sure who. I think it's I don't know that it's the embassy or if it's just a service that works for the government, for the Indian government, doing visa journalism visa applications. Um, it's it's pretty much it's very low chance that I'm going to India, which is really upsetting because I've been looking forward to this for months, and I was in theory giving my sister away at the wedding because I'm her oldest living male relative, I think, somehow like that, direct, close blood relative. Yeah. So anyway, so there we are. One, completely masked off, ready to go for when it's above zero, above freezing here in Pennsylvania, and when I can paint again. Yeah, working on the track. So this is, like I said, this is we're gonna add in the Carrera Chicane. This is a new version of it to the track, and I want to make it gray, like the Scaleauto track. And I figured I'd just go live because heck, why not? And hey, 43 people for a. I don't need to mask that. Next spring, exactly, Chris. But it'll be taped. I'm masking the rails, Justin. So when I shoot it with gray, with dark gray paint, this will all be gray, but not the rails. The rails won't be painted. That's it. So how's everybody going? How's everybody doing? You all have nice turkey? Nice time with the fam? I love Thanksgiving. It is my favorite holiday. I'm an eater, in case you couldn't tell. And I like a holiday that, as it is now, which I'm fine with, is a celebration kind of getting together. And I think it's kind of celebrating the family more than anything. You know, it can be community if you don't have a big family. You know, you can celebrate it with other people who are not blood relatives, and I think that's perfectly okay. So I like that. I like the idea of kind of celebrating togetherness and giving thanks for that. So yeah, that's a favorite of mine. Yeah, this is actually not that hard. Thought it'd be a little more difficult. I'm a little shaky these days. So me being able to get this close is a win. Yeah, the rails are a little dirty, but it doesn't matter. It's just going to be on there to paint. It's not going to be on there to do any conductivity training. I don't know what I'm saying. And yeah, we're still a little behind in me getting my track out there ready to go again. We're not going to get our generator turned on until December 10th, which is either when I'm in India seeing my sister get married or on this other trip that I have as a secondary plan if I can't go to India. And I will be, no, I'm not. Yeah, the slot will be painted, but who cares? The slot in the slot in the Scaleauto track is gray, so why not? Yeah, I'm not going to mask the slot off though. No, I don't see the point, and I don't care about the lining of the slot being gray or not, because the lining of the slot, I mean, it's black as it is. It's gray on the Scaleauto track. It doesn't really matter. So yeah. So if I don't go to India, you all will see. I have a pretty extensive trip planned if I don't go to India, but I'm not going to talk about that um, until we figure out what's going on with my trip to India. I've gotten all these shots. I just got the immunizations. I got yellow fever. I got typhoid shots. I got pills that I took, and yeah, so it's and those are expensive. Let me tell you, it was hundreds of dollars. Now that I may not have needed to do, and I'm not even going to tell you how much the tickets cost, because I'm flying, in theory, business class to India. So that's a lot. I didn't pay for that. I don't have that kind of money. Anyway, we're almost done with this piece too. Holy crap. Jeez Louise. So, yeah, and I did get most of the Le Mans building done, the Race Track Scenics building. I did get quite a bit of that done, and I need to get some fake glass put in. I'm going to get plastic put in. I'll answer your question in a second, Chris. So I'm going to put the glass in to kind of like hide some of the area that's open in the building. I did take a picture of it last night that folks may have seen posted on LEB and Slot Car News on Facebook and on my Instagram. Look at that. That's most of it done. Most of the job done. Holy crap. We're mostly through. Treatments. Yeah, so treatments have not been as successful. This last time I had them done, normally after a treatment, I have an autoimmune condition called myasthenia gravis, which makes my eyes droop, which they're trying to do now. I can feel it. They'll go shut involuntarily. It makes me really weak, like extremely weak. It's hard to hold my head up. It's hard to. I have really weak hands, not like really weak hands. I couldn't open a jar today. It's really frustrating, and it gives me tremors. It's hard, makes it hard to swallow. Like so small pills, I just like gag on them. I can't. It's really hard to swallow. And I have to take a nap now a lot of the time, which sounds fine for folks who like to take a nap. I hadn't ever taken a nap in my life, probably since I was an infant, until about 2 years ago when I was diagnosed with this condition. They said, "Oh, you're tired all the time, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I've been taking naps." And they did all this blood work, and it was this well-known autoimmune condition, which has lots of things that don't shorten your life, but make your life just a lot more difficult to do basic stuff like go to work, carry the plates out of the dishwasher, because plates are heavier than you'd think, especially if your upper body is super weak and your hands are super weak. So it's been pretty much misery, on and off, with breaks of monotony. But anyway, so I get blood infusion treatments every 8 weeks. That cost $250,000 a year, by the way. Thank you, health insurance system. So, and I get those for the rest of my life. And just trying to get this straight here. Yeah, so I get blood infusions every 8 weeks. I have a nurse come to the house and give me a goop in an IV bag, and it takes about 3 hours to do. Um, and it doesn't hurt or anything. It's whatever. I just sit there and watch my iPad or chat with the nurse. She's really nice, or whatever. But it makes really hard to do my job a lot of the time because I can't really carry a lot now, and my arms kind of want to give out if I carry like heavy lenses or like a really heavy bag, or well, anyway, whatever. So yeah, so their treatments are going okay. So there you go. There's a treatment update. Lenny Broke asks, "Hey Dave, did you have any influence on Carrera chassis design while you're with the team? Much less engineered these days." Not really, because the guy who would do the chassis was not the guy who would do the bodies. Explain that one to me, but whatever. So the mechanical operations of the car, which is that they considered the chassis to be that. The chassis were done by a different guy, and then the design director would do the body of the car, not like the materials, but the shape and the colors. The materials were, of course, spec'd by someone who just did materials for the company, like plastics and whatever else. So it was somebody that specific that did that. I did not. I had a lot of say about the cars. For the time that I was there, I basically picked all the American cars. They were happy to let me do all of that. They didn't. I had a better sense of what the U.S. market would want than they would, and they had a better sense of they thought of what the European market would want than I would. So whatever. So, I mean, as far as like the colors, I absolutely would spec a lot of the liveries on the cars. I would research them, but not the chassis design. They kind of started with that chassis, the design aesthetic about it being less engineered, as you put it, Lenny. But slightly before I worked for the company, for their newer models. Now, so what that means is if a car's chassis had already been made, that chassis design stayed identical, because once you make a chassis, you don't make a different chassis. It's not a terribly expensive part. Jesus, are we done already? All three. There they are. Hello. Getting away from me. All three parts. I didn't think that would take that. I think that would be so quickly. So it's masked. I think that's the only parts I needed to mask. Because the rest of it is just, oh no, wait. No. You get it straight, and oh my God, I'm dropping everything. I don't know if I'm going to mask off the borders or shoot the borders, paint the borders. I may, because inside these are just straights. More straights. About 200 feet of straights somewhere. I gave most of my Carrera track to a friend. Yeah, so the chassis were done by somebody else and the bodies were done by somebody else. Rayburn, it's fine, man. What are you going to do? But so, there are people with way worse conditions than me. I'm not in pain from what I do. I am in pain from what I do. I'm not in pain from my condition. I had surgery for it, where they went in through my ribs on this side. Yeah, shirt sweating. Jesus, Chucky. They went in through my ribs on this side to take out a gland right here in the middle of my chest. And when they did that, they went in through the ribs, like I said, and they hit a whole bunch of nerves in there. And so now I have nearly constant chest pain from this part of my chest over is a lot still numb. And I had this surgery almost 2 years ago now. And I get short of breath because it's like something going on right around that lung. My lung capacity is fine. That's been tested. So I don't have diminished lung capacity, even though I've had pneumonia like 7 times. But anyway. Yeah, so. Oh, no. No, those I do need in there, of course. Duh. Those are just the transition pieces, though, from straight. So these are these transition pieces. I feel like I could leave one of them out. And that would shorten up the track on one side. Let me look at this other guy over here. Where'd that go? Hello. Hey. Boxes are losing here. Yes, they're... No, these are a little shorter probably. But so, he asked if they were shorter than... oh, it's already open. But so I have kind of an odd shaped track as it is. So I may be able to... Because this, I'm going to put this in as well. This this chicane piece, I think, in my track, because you got to do all of this. Because I like the shape. Hello, I like the shape that it makes. This kind of it's like this kind of organic curve, but this is like, these are Carrera straights are a nominal 13 and a half inches long, 13.45 inches long, so almost, or a little more than a foot per straight. So 3 feet just to put this piece in. Don't know about that, because I don't have that much to play with between where my Scaleauto track is and where the Carrera track this meets. So this I can't do tonight because I don't know where I'm going to use it, if I am going to use it. Oh, and look, a cellophane bag with Carrera red clips in there. Very cool. Anyway, yeah, so no, these definitely are shorter though. You're right. These look like what, 3/4 straights or some nonsense like that. You know what, though? I'm going to tape these bad dads up, too, because I'm going to be very happy to get rid of these dotted lines. I did try to get Carrera to get rid of the dotted lines on track. They said no. That's as far as it went. I said, because they were, everyone's always trying to save money, and adding this extra step, it's a waste. If they really wanted to save money, they could stop putting lines. We're not driving on a road, we're driving on a race course. And racetracks don't have lanes. This will take 2 seconds anyway, because these are straight. Yay. Yeah, so the chassis design aesthetic changed at Carrera right before I started working there. So there were a lot of legacy cars that had, that kind of old, sort of overly engineered look to them. And now, the chassis are fairly plain. There's a lot of doodads in there. It's a technical term. You learn that with an MBA, which I don't have, by the way. I have no business training whatsoever, which I'm sure some people will be very happy to tell you that it shows, but, F them. Yeah, so straight. There we go. Awesome. So they changed that design a while ago to make the stuff more basic. I think it was just kind of a necessity. I hate the dotted line too. How many times has they changed up their chassis? Hello, Slot Car League. I mean, so there was, yeah, I mean, Carrera's constantly kind of changed things up until kind of this recent idea, kind of, I call it a design aesthetic about how they make chassis. Because now it's fairly, it's pretty straightforward, really. Not a whole lot of nonsense in there. There's a little bit of nonsense in there, but not like those old sort of Pro X and early 2000s cars, which had all kinds of crazy shit going on in there. But so I don't know. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell because every time a new car would get made, a new chassis would be made because every car has its own chassis design. There's no such thing as a common chassis, pretty much for anybody. I mean, some companies have sort of a common chassis, but not really. Pretty much everyone makes a new chassis for every car. And the chassis don't really cost that much. A car mold, the body might cost like $60,000 for a mold, but the chassis is only about $4,000 or $5,000 of that, I think. So chassis modifications could be made, but the thinking is at the companies, frankly, that once you have a car's chassis done and it works adequately, they're not going to touch it just because it's done. Because why bother? These companies are not interested in performance, guys. That's the other thing. You got to understand they're not about at all about wanting to make a car faster. They're only about making a car go around the track at a reasonable speed, and that's pretty much it. Hey, straight borders. I do like me some straight borders. Yeah, so probably I will put the inner border. Where'd that diagram go? Jesus. My capacity to lose stuff is off the charts, guys. Yeah, so the inner border right there with the tires, probably that will go on because I like the way it looks on the inner part, and probably those tires will be on there, but it'll be painted about the same color as this track. There won't be any candy canes, nothing. No red stripy nonsense. We don't like that. We don't like distraction in our traction. Yeah, so where'd that bag go, brother? Yeah, my God, can I lose everything all the time? Everything everywhere all at once gets lost. Hey, there we are. There's the little bag. We'll save that for the museum. Yes, they are toys. They are only toys. That's you should not think of them. You're welcome to think of them as a hobby product, but Carrera especially, they're not a hobby company. They're a toy company. If you think they're anything other than a toy company, you're wrong. I'm sorry. If you want to use it like I do, and most of it, every slot car guy does, as a hobby, boy, you're go right ahead. But the way they see it, the way the people making the stuff see it, it's a toy, guys. It's only a toy. So there we are. So yeah, this is going to get put in there along with these little god-awful Carrera stubs. I have so many of these all over. Hey, this is not the right one. Hey, what's going on here, folks? Well, this is the outsides. I'm failing this intelligence test. Putting track pieces. on track pieces. What? 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 I did have a couple beers tonight, but damn. Okay, so these all the same. Okay, there's 2 of those and 2 of those. Okay, where are the others? Yeah, I mean, the candy canes are all right. Just like, I don't need them. I don't want them. No, thank you. No, thank you. So this will be painted, and then the fence, the tires will be put on. These guys will be put on. Yeah, those guys will go there. Oh, someone asked about F1 cars. Vin. Oh, hey, Vin. Polycars are not poorly made. You might not like the way they're made, but they're not poorly made. Are the Carrera F1s any good? I mean, for the kind of car they are, they're fine. They're toys, though. They're not meant to be like NSRs. You think the NSRs are too fast? Well, yeah. I mean, they're a hobby brand, so I mean, I don't know. That's kind of a judgment call. I like the NSR cars a lot. I think they're really good. I really like. The Polycar F1s. The thing I don't like about them is the nose comes off very easily. I'm not a huge fan of that. Is Carrera Track, Justin asked, is Carrera Track the best? No, Carrera Track is not the best. Polycar and Scaleauto are the best. Keeping in mind, I don't do digital racing here. If you want digital racing, easy plug-and-play digital racing, I would go with Carrera just because it is a plug-and-play option that is very, 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 very good. However, it's not grippy enough for my taste. I do like hard plastic track. This Carrera is hard plastic track. Scaleauto is hard plastic track. Polycar is hard plastic track. Polycar is the highest grip level of track. And Scaleauto is probably just a bit below the Polycar track. And the Carrera track for grip is below that, and then at the bottom is Scaleauto, which has very low grip. Opinions on car tricks. I mean, I don't have any Team Slot or Car Tricks cars. I would not probably suggest them for. I mean, Car Tricks does make some interesting old F1 or Grand Prix cars, I think. Yeah, I mean, if you want them, go ahead and buy them. I don't know that they're going to be like as fast as like an NSR or Carrera or a Slotted or something like that. They're not kind of meant to be that. Certainly not the Team Slot stuff, which I think it's meant to be kind of like a collectible. It's kind of like a small brand. I really don't know where they're from, actually. I kind of forgot, I guess. So, yeah, whatever. So, the track is all taped. Jesus. Very cool. And then we'll do the rest of this at some point when I come back from wherever the heck is that I'm going. Yeah, so this is not laying flat. Kind of stinks. Is it warped? It's just, well, whatever. Once I clip this in, because this goes on the inside of the track. Hey, Chris. Thanks for showing up. I really appreciate it, man. It's an impromptu nonsense stream. Just, I've been working on the Carrera, the chicane, or it's not a chicane. Well, no, it is a chicane corner piece. It is not a hairpin because it is the same diameter or same sweep as the 160s, which are the standard corner pieces. Radium. Yeah, so we got all of it taped off, all the rails taped, and we're gonna paint it. We're gonna match it with the gray Scaleauto track, and I do have some fairly similar Airfix paint that I'm gonna use for that. So that's cool. But like I said, this won't get painted until I'm back from whatever trip it is that I'm freaking taking. I couldn't even tell you. Jeez, it's it's not been a lot of fun trying to think about this for quite a while now. Yeah, so this is going to get stuck together because this is going to get painted. There they are. I do like one of the really good things. Watching the voice. Yeah, I appreciate it. Overbuilt and grumpy. Yes, grumpy. That was one of those kind of early 2000s cars that that Carrera made before they changed to a more basic chassis. You got to understand, if you got that car within the last, 10 years, you missed the car being new for all that time. And you got to think about the cars that were made new at that time all had those, very kind of clunky chassis, or chassis that people always call over-engineered. You got to understand that all the cars at that time had a similar kind of design. So yeah. Dave, Mike asked, what do you think of the Le Mans miniatures cars? I have one. I was given it because it's damaged. It's absolutely gorgeous. They are made for collectors. They're not for racers. I wouldn't race them, especially for as much as they cost. They are beautiful cars, but they're aimed at collectors. I don't think there's any doubt that that's who they're aimed at, and that's what you get. Is a very, very nice kind of meh performing car, but it's a beautiful car. There we are. This is the thing that goes in the middle. What I had suggested to Carrera when I suggested this track piece, this was a project that I had helped get going right before I left the company. The actual chicane hairpin was supposed to, because the track goes around here, the hairpin, or not the hairpin, the chicane piece goes around here. The track I had suggested would have gone inside, would have gone where this is. So it's like there's an HO track piece. I forget who it's made by, but it actually fits in the tight size radius. It looks a little bit like a teardrop, and it's a true hairpin. That is what I had suggested. They didn't tell me about this project until essentially it was done. And they said, hey, look, this was your idea we talked about. And I said, no, that's not my idea at all. My idea was to make a true hairpin to go inside the tightest radius, the 160. It would have been in, what would you call it? Not 160. Well, it would have been divided by, because each piece is 60 degrees. That's how you get 160. So it would have gone in where this is, each piece of this. So I don't know. I'm not a mathematician. I'm a photographer. So there we are. That's it. A simple pan would have sufficed. Yeah, Grumpy. But like I said, they don't even do a simple pan now. They kind of do that now, but you're talking about cars that are 10 years newer than the car you're talking about. That's the deal. Thomas Sanders. Hello, Dave. Hello, Thomas. Waiting on 2 Polakar Maserati GT4s. Yes, very good. Yes, I have experience with their Home Racers line. They are very good cars. They are made. They're very good cars. They are not as fast as your normal kind of Scaleelectric or Carrera car. They have a slower motor in them. I think it's 14,000 RPM. The idea of these cars was to be a very cheap line, a very cost-effective line. Yes, Chris Fretter, the Tomy hairpin, that was my inspiration, and that's what I told Carrera to make, and they didn't make it. Um, the Home Racers line was intended to be a very cost-effective. I don't want to say cheap because the quality is not bad. It's just not a hobbyist grade of car, but that's not the intention. The intention was a Carrera or Scaleelectric grade of car with slotted wheels on it, with easily interchangeable slotted parts, with slotted tires, most importantly. So you got nice tires that you can find, heaven forbid, replacements for here in the U.S. So 13,500. There you go. Perfect. Yeah, I knew it was around 14. Not fast. A good, easy motor to drive. And that was Maurizio's intention. We've talked extensively about this, he and I have. And his intention was that they be a good drivable car for kids and for people to start out with. And if clubs wanted to race them, I know Gary Wiles from the club out near Pittsburgh, they race the they raced the FRS BRZ Honda or Toyota slash Subarus in a class. So yeah, I mean they're good cars. They're just meant to be a more cost effective type of car. Cheers, Thomas. No worries, man. Justin asks, sorry, Justin. What was your favorite project that you worked on at Carrera? Probably the Cheetahs. They had started making the 124 scale Cheetah right before I started working at the company, and we were in a Toys R Us, I think, or no, FAO Schwartz in New York City, and the CEO, COO, whatever he was, the second in charge of Carrera, asked me what car I thought we should make next, and this was years ago. So, well, it would have been a year before the first Cheetahs and Shelby Cobras came out. So he asked me that, and right off the bat, I said the Cheetah, and he said, "Okay, well, what car do you think should race against it?" And I said I called it an AC Cobra, but the Shelby Cobra. And he said, "Okay, we'll do them both." And it was that long of a conversation while we were walking around looking at toys at FAO Schwartz in New York City. Just he and I and the other group of folks, the other executives at the company, were just kind of walking around the company, and that's how long a conversation it was. And we went with them, and the Cheetah was one of the best selling cars that Carrera had made at up to that point. And then the Cobra also was a great selling car, and he was a big believer. I was very happy to have the guy take my advice and then have the pan out, because the Cheetahs and the Cobras are widely accepted as good cars. And we worked with the Thomas family. I got to work with them. Bill Thomas, the second, Bill Thomas Jr., the guy that made the real Cheetah in real life. I got to work with his son, Bill Thomas. Technically, he's the third Bill Thomas. I got to work with him closely about getting the shapes right on the 132nd scale Cheetahs, and getting the colors right, and getting the liveries right on the cars, and then doing liveries that were, not necessarily real liveries, but were like, period correct fun liveries that, we never, some of these cars were not passed off to be real. So, yeah, it was fun. The Cheetah and the Cobra were quite successful cars, and we had to do a report. One of the woman who was the comptroller had to do a report, and she did a report about the best selling cars we had done over a certain period of time, and the Cheetah was far and away the best-selling car to that point. We had it in a couple sets, 124 and 132, and we had done a lot of open stock car. I mean, just single cars, the cars in the crystal cases, as well as cars in sets. So when you make a mold, you try to make as much money from that mold as possible. So if you do a car, you want to put that car in a set to make more uses of the mold, so the mold makes money quicker. And that car made a fair amount of money fairly quickly within like 2 years or 3 years. We had done so many Cheetahs. And yeah, they were, as someone also points out here, uh, Brad Sanders. Cheetah was one of his first cars. The chip died. They sent me another Cheetah. The chip died. New chips. Now I have two Cheetahs. There you go. I mean, it's digital chips are fraught with peril because the soldering on those chips is so small and so particular when you put it into a car that you have to be so careful. If you're not really careful, you can easily pinch a wire and cause it to get damaged. And that was most of the problem with if a digital car failed. And a lot of the F1 cars, we had a lot of problems with those um, because the chips would fail because the wires were so delicate at the solder joints that we couldn't. Well, that I think the problem was when they were installing the chips in the cars, wrestling them in there and getting all the little wires plugged in because all it was done by hand in China. I think they might have been not as careful as they could have been. I guess this is all a guess, and that damaged certain types of cars more regularly than others. But like the Cheetah, you have to. It's a very small car. There's stub axles in the Cheetah in the front because there isn't room for a solid axle because of where the guide is, and there's just so much packed in there. So probably when they kind of mashed all those wires down in there, where all the wires connect to the boards and all the other connections in there, that when they pushed all the wires down to put the body on top, they some of the wires probably got crimped, and systemically that probably happened for quite a while. So that's a guess. I do know, and we had and they have to do this because they're an Austrian company and not a German company, an Austrian company. You have to have a record of a product's failure rates. So this actually does need to be documented in the legal report, and they have a less than 5% blended failure rate blended across all product lines. So obviously, like the least problematic are the analog cars, the evolution cars. The most problematic cars we had when I worked for them, I was there 7 years. The most problematic cars we had were the Formula One cars in 1/32 scale. Um, Obviously, the battery operated cars were crazy problematic. I mean, we gave out thousands of cars. Well, we gave out hundreds of cars. I shouldn't say thousands because we didn't get thousands to give away. We did get boxes, huge boxes of just any old go car or any old battery operated car to give people when they would call and they said, "Hey, my slot car broke. Do you have parts?" And we'd always say, "No, we don't have parts, but I'll send you a car," because it's way easier to send people cars than it is to send them parts. Because most people can't even read instructions like this about how to put this track piece together, much less read instructions about how to put tires on a car or braid. People would regularly pull out the braid on the guide because they saw in the directions how you put in the guide, and they thought that even though the diagram was telling you to put them in, they thought they were telling you to take them out before they were raced. So people would constantly take out the braid, so it was just like that brass strap next to next to the guide on each side, and people would put the car on the track, and the car wouldn't work, and they'd call us, and I'd say, "Okay, send me a picture. What's going on? Send me a picture." And 9 times out of 10, well, no, 6 times out of 10, they had taken the braid off. The other 3 times, the braid was either completely flat against the car, which the braid wasn't curled down to touch the track, or the braid was flat but bent forward, so it was like instead of like both tabs going like that, one tab was going like that, and one tab was going like that on each side of the guide, which, okay, like whatever. But so that's that would happen all the time. So people don't know how to read even a pictogram. They don't know how to read that. They don't get basic instructions on anything. So you can't underestimate how people are inept with instructions and reading. So yeah, there we are. Thomas said he used Bear's interior latex paint, flat finish, asphalt gray. Great. On his Carrera track, grip was nominally improved in my opinion. Yeah, I'm sure it was. I have no doubt that it was. And I'm only going to use the Airfix paint because I have it. Or what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go to, and I've been doing a lot of videos at like Michael's and stuff recently, just because I've been kind of going there and checking out what I could use from there to help with the slot car track, just to do stuff. I'm going to take a piece of track there to Hobby Lobby, because they have a lot of paint at Hobby Lobby, a lot of acrylic in rattle cans. It's crazy expensive. It's like $10 a can or $9 a can. But you take a coupon in there and you get 40% off of anything once a day. So I'll do that. And I'll try to match this color. And I'll probably just get a big can, not the Humbrol cans, Airfix, or the Humbrol paint that I have from when I worked at Scaleauto. I have a big box of it. But they're really small cans, and they might be good for like most of the track pieces, but not all of them. So I need a big can. I don't care if it's cheaper paint or it's like Rust-Oleum or whatever. I don't give a damn. I just need it to be about that color. That's it. So it's not. So, and then this is going to look completely different because these are all going to be gone. All this is going to be gone. I had thought about gluing this to kind of get rid of some of the joints, but that's like way too freaking fiddly. I don't have time for that. I got places to go. No, I don't. Yeah, so that's so I might do that. Okay, what else? Let me get some other questions here. Not really. Oh yeah, and then I still gotta get my wood track cleaned off and squared away. That needs to be a thing too. Yeah, so this is all the pieces. Yeah, because I don't think I'm going to do the outside border. I don't really need it. Around the track, around these around there, I don't think I really need any of that. So probably I'll just do the chicane and then this. And as soon as I can, I may actually be able to take this to work and do it. We have a big open industrial area at the paper that used to be like a sorting room. And if I did that on the weekend, it would air out by Monday. So maybe, but then everyone would be pissed off at me because it's might still smell. So I probably won't do that. Probably just wait till it's warmer outside, which will be, April. Yeah. I love the Carrera connections because you can't, now watch, I'll pull it apart. You can't pull these apart. Like no other company, I shouldn't say no other company. Carrera's for the basic track system, Carrera's connections are far better than Scaleauto's connections. Some guy was having a go at me saying I was a liar about how easy Scaleauto's track came apart. You can't pull this apart, buddy. You're not getting this apart. Scaleauto's, like, you can't even get those ridiculous little metal clips. You can't even get those in the States, I don't think, anymore. And they were certainly out of stock forever while I worked for the company. So the only connection just relies on the soft plastic track with these very kind of tepid connectors that don't really get in there. So I don't know. Ninco, yeah, but Ninco's like, I mean, they're still making stuff, but barely. So I would, I mean, I know people do have Ninco, and Ninco's good for grip, but it sags because it's soft plastic. So, I mean, I make no bones about the fact that I'm a hard plastic track guy. So, yeah. Yeah, Carrera North America. And keep in mind, that's Carrera Revel Toys.com, not Carrera Slots. Carrera Slots is not Carrera. Carrera Slots is just a dealer. They're not Carrera. Just trying to go back over through some of the comments here. Oh, yeah, your Hobby Lobby doesn't have... Yeah, Glitzy Nuts. Great name, by the way. Your Hobby Lobby doesn't have cars. You're talking about Go cars? They do at mine. Yeah, at mine they only have... They have two sets. One of them's battery op set, and one of them is a regular plug-in Go set. They do have track extensions there. They have pullbacks. They don't... I think you're right, though. They don't have cars, though, as far as I remember. But CarreraToys.com, I think it is, they're Carrera, and they do sell to the public. LEB Hobbies, who is a sponsor of this channel. Hold on here. LEB Hobbies.com has a decent selection of Go cars. I would suggest you call them. They have Go cars on a really good sale now. I think they're going to be kind of cutting back on a lot of the Go stuff they carry. So they have something close to a clearance sale on all of the Go stuff. So I would look there. I would really encourage you to look there. I'm bonking the camera there too much. Yeah, thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, Carrera Revel. They do sell directly, but you're going to get better prices at LEB because they have a big sale going on now for at least another day or two. And yeah, I mean, they're just trying to get rid of a lot of it, frankly. So yeah, I mean, they have a pretty decent selection still. And of course, Carrera, as Chris put in there the URL or partial URL. I can't see the whole. Oh yeah, yeah. Just as part of my user interface, there's a heart over the last word in that line for some reason on my monitor, my iPad that I'm watching you guys on. Yeah, Carrera does have is going to have a better selection there for sure. Yeah, eBay, but I mean, who needs to go to eBay? There's people that have the stuff. Like LEB has a ton of it, and a lot of other people do. You don't need to go to eBay. You really don't. There's some on Amazon as well. Yeah, so anyway, how long have we been doing the do here? Wow, an hour. Oh, holy cow. Neat. So, that's about... Oh, where's the... I'll show you the building. Zenko, no. So this is a little bit of mythology. Carrera's rails were not set as deeply as other slightly newer track. But if you have track that was more than 10 years old, that has an extra connection there, another tooth. See these little teeth that stick out? There would be another one here if it's got 4 teeth. That's the older design, which is like more than 10 years old now. Way more than 10, almost 20 years old now. That would be what people call the low rail or the high rail. I don't know. People think there's some massive change. Any change was nothing more than a rolling change done in production that wasn't intentionally done by Carrera. I'll repeat that. Was not intentionally done by Carrera. So the molds are for these track pieces are old, but that wouldn't make them any thicker. It would make the edges rounded, which they're not. I mean, this is This is a crisp edge, as crispy as you could ever want it to be. And this is a fairly new mold on here. These are stamped. This was made in 2023, in March of 2023. It's the 3/4 Gerade, 3/4 straight is Gerade. My German pronunciation is terrible. Gerade, but it's 3/4 straight. And you can see the stamp on here was made in 23, and 3 is the month. So that's when these are made. And you also know that it was made in the newer era because Stadelbauer Marketing is listed as being in Puch in Salzburg in Austria. But before that, they would have been in Nuremberg, which is the older track. And I'm not sure that they were in Austria when that newer track was made. So if you look on the bottom, I don't know that for sure. But if you look on the bottom there, well, there's two things. They would have an extra tooth right there if it's the oldest track or the older track, which might be different from the newest track. But again, this was not an intentional thing. The people that say that it is don't know the truth. I asked the guy who is the chassis designer for a lot of cars, and he's the one that does all the materials stuff, all the design stuff for the track pieces. And he's told me we have had a lot of discussions about changes that could be made or were made or whatever. And most of them turned out to be incidental changes that were not intended to be changed, but might have been changed and not changed by design. So let me get this building. So this is not quite done yet. This is a Race Track Scenics, what they call, I think, the Le Mans building. But so this is just for me, this is just going to be a building. I know it's kind of behind the thing there, so I'll kind of tilt it so you can see more of it. It's not even, I know, at the ends. I did this for a reason. I wanted to show more of the front of the building here, this kind of atrium area. I wanted to raise it up so you could see it a little better. And so you could see that there's black, like there's just a piece of black paper in here now that I taped in to make the windows black for now. I'm going to take that out, and I may put floors in here so I can put people in the windows. I probably won't do that because I'm lazy. Probably what I am going to probably do is put the yes, it is huge. Is put like plastic, like green shiny plastic pieces, like strips behind the wall, so it looks like it's old style, kind of reflective green, sort of reflective glass from the 50s or the 60s, like that kind of really industrial looking stuff. So I wanted to have those high. I wanted to have these higher because I wanted to show off this first story a little better, because I painted it dark gray, and then the inserts are black to kind of like give it a little bit of accent color and a little more depth. And I also, where is it? Here it is. I made a little planter that's going to go right here. That's or somewhere like that. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. This is just like it would be like a cast, and I just painted it like a tan color. Hope you guys can see that. I painted it like a tan color to look like cast concrete, and I'm going to put little flowers in there. And then on this side, I have little die-cast like Vespas and motorcycles and things, and I'm going to kind of put those on the front right here, so it's kind of going to be balanced a little bit. And like I said, this is a planter, and this I just made out of scrap wood, so like the pieces, so make it not fall here. When you put this together, you have these huge panels of MDF that you get, and you just pop out the pieces, and there you go. It's like this piece would have been the whole piece for this thing. So if you look, this should fit. Yeah, there you go. So that was like the whole one piece for this whole front part. So you get all this really great scrap wood when you get this. So I figured, what the heck, there you go. There's some extra wood for me. So I made this, and then I made I don't want to lose that little guy there. So I glued in extra. I'll just take this off. I glued in extra reinforcing, and it's ugly on the back, but whatever. It helped to stiffen this up a lot. It's rock solid now. The building is I glued it all with Elmer's, and I reinforced. Like, this piece wasn't here. There was nothing. There's no real way to get this the flat front of the building glued into place, unless you put like reinforcing like brackets kind of in there. So all of this is just kind of nonsense makeshift that I did. And then I wanted to reinforce this and this part over here, so it's all braced. So it's nice and sturdy now, and it's good and heavy, but it's a solid little thing. Well, big. It's a pretty good sized building, and I love this. I love working with wood like this. I think it's perfect rather than plastic. It's so much more forgiving. It's real easy to work with. It smells good, when you're playing with it, when you're working with it. And it's not like anybody can do this. You just glue it with Elmer's. Like it's way over there. I have a big thing of Elmer's. Can you see a car next to it? Absolutely. Here's some cars that I have sitting around on my desk here. So here's a Maserati, one of the Polo car. Move that back so you can see it, hopefully. There's a 2002. Here's a Carrera set car from the American Muscle set that I just kind of have hanging around. You can't really see those, I'm sorry. Moving it back. And so there's a Scaleauto Camaro in front. So it looks good. It's the right size. I mean, it's a substantive sized building. Yeah, thanks Slot Car League for pointing that out, that I should put it with some cars so you can see it. I see it on the monitor now. Looks good. I think it looks really nice. I'm happy with this is exactly the size of building that I like. I think these are appropriately sized cars. It's like, this is a good scale model for the building. And I wanted something big like this. They have so many, Race Track Scenics has so many different buildings that there's a building there for everybody. If you don't like this, don't buy it. There's a million other buildings that they have there you can buy. So I wanted something big. I wanted a building just this size, because I want to build like a one end of my track. I want to have kind of a city, and kind of the other end of the track is kind of be like a viewing area. So it's kind of like a downtown racetrack, not really like a rural racetrack. Like a lot of racetracks are just kind of off in the woods or whatever. But I wanted my theme to kind of be a, kind of a multi-purpose, like a street course. You guys know what I'm talking about. So, yeah. So there you go. It's a great building. It's not a hard kit to put together. You got to do a little bit of head scratching and just try to figure out how to get the piece on the front was the hard one to mount, because you have to figure out how you want to brace it while the glue is drying, because you got to glue this in. There's no way I know of to have this not be glued in. And yes, I put it in higher in the front than it should have been. I explained why. I don't care. That's how I wanted it done. Because for me, this is just going to be a background building, and you're only going to really see the front. You're not going to see the sides, so it doesn't matter. Oh, and I can show with people too. Because I have all of my people here. Yeah, so there you go. So if this guy's supposed to be 6 feet tall, he's about these are the old MRRC people, two of which both of them I painted. I painted the guy, and I think this guy, the guy with the blue jacket. Yeah, the guy with the blue jacket. So yeah, I think it's about the right size. I think they look good. If you stand the guy here, he's looking out the window, and he's the floor would be about there probably, and it would be chest high window to him. I think that looks pretty good. I think it's just about the thing. Hey, Jeremy, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. It's honestly a lot of kind of how I have fun with the hobby now is doing videos. But I love model making, and I love scenery. I don't really care about going fast, which you would know, especially if you drove with me, because I'm not fast. But I enjoy just making a nice running car that I can drive at a pace that is fun for me to drive at. I don't have the time anymore to do club racing. So it's not really, that's kind of that part of it's over for me, certainly for now. And also because I have the condition, it's kind of hard for me to hold a controller up for a long period of time. To hold a controller for a long period of time. And I get tremors for my condition sometimes. So like I'm pretty sure I couldn't do a 24-hour race. I've done 5 of them, and I'm sure I couldn't do one now, and it would be hard for me to hold a controller for an hour at a time. So anyway, so I enjoy doing stuff like this, and the Race Track Scenic stuff, magnetic racing buildings, all of it is really, really added a lot to my enjoyment of the hobby. To really get, it's kind of, even though they're new buildings, it's kind of like old school idea of making wooden buildings. They're laser cut. So that's how they can do the stuff now. It's a new technology, and it's MDF. And it's nice because it, still smells like wood, and it's super easy to paint. And I had done that video the other day for you guys about the cheap paint, Mondo Llama paint. This is the paint that I used for a fair amount of the white that you see here, but I ended up spraying it because I needed the coats to be more even. Anyway, so there it is, Mondo Llama. $1 and some, $1.75 at Target. I just bought another one tonight. I bought some green tonight. Is it here? No, it's still upstairs. I bought one of these sizes of green. And like I said, this is good enough paint. It's acrylic, which means it's just a plastic emulsion suspended in water. I guess that's what it is. It is not toxic. It is easy to wash out of your paintbrushes. Very easy. You don't need paint thinner. You just smooth it on, and it's such an easy thing to work with. You don't have to, it doesn't smell at all. It smells a little like Play-Doh because it's plasticky stuff or whatever. So it's, I do smell up the house occasionally with my spray painting projects. So my wife will be happy to remind me of, and I shouldn't do it, but it happens sometimes. But so, yeah, so like making these projects, you literally need, here, I'll just show you. You need a knife, This is not an X-Acto knife, but it's a cheap hobby knife. You need Elmer's, because even the buildings that they say you don't need to glue together, you probably should, because when you glue them together, they make a very, very solid little building. You can have a cheap paintbrush. This was a very cheap paintbrush that I got out of a returns at a local Amazon store. And you need, where is it? Oh. Ah, there it is. And you need sandpaper. Because, as you know, when you're working with wood, even MDF that's been laser cut, the edge is not maybe as perfect as it could be. So just hit it with some sandpaper. This is 120 grit sandpaper. It is cheap stuff. You don't need expensive sandpaper, and you can get it for like $5 for like a big package of sandpaper, like a lifetime supply for hobby sanding stuff. And so this is like all you really need. And then the cheap paint from Target or spray cans of acrylic paint. You can spray with enamel if you want. But a really basic kit of stuff, which you really can't see again either. A really basic kit of stuff. You can do one of these projects with basically all of this, and then papers to lay the stuff down on when the paint is drying. And it takes only a couple hours for the paint to really dry. So I think it's great. I think it's awesome. It's added so much personally to me to have the buildings like this available. And paint pens are cool too, but you can't really use a paint pen over a huge area, right? So you need so I did some of the work with this paintbrush, and I did the rest of it with this. So it's like, this is putting a lot more paint on your project, the big one is, than the small one, and certainly than a pen. So, you do whatever you want to do. I'm just suggesting I'm just telling you what I did. That's what I'm telling you. And I got maybe a package of like 5 paintbrushes for like $2. And these are not great paintbrushes. The bristles kind of flare out a little bit, and whatever. And they're cheap paint. I have good paintbrushes from art school still, but those I don't use for this stuff. So these buildings have just added so much, I feel, into the hobby that, it means a lot to me that they're around. So there we are. If anyone is making John Candela, sorry not to see this. See this until now. Making a version of the Indy Control Tower, probably Race Track Scenics would, I think. You mean like the big pagoda? I think they do. But I don't know off the top of my head. RacetrackScenics.com. Probably. I think they do, but I don't know. I talk about their stuff, but it's not my company. Sorry. Anyway, so, yeah, we got a lot done here tonight. I'm really happy to get all that taped off as quickly as I did. Yeah, Slot Car League. Yeah, I've seen those apocalyptic buildings too. I probably will add little weeds in some of these areas to kind of, it's not what you're talking about, but to kind of liven it up a little bit, like around in the front of the little the planter here. It's going to go on the other side, I think. I probably will put a little bit of weed, a little bit of weeds on the edges around that. And it's because you add that level of detail, even if it's a little bit here and there, with you have a little bit of ground foam, and you put like a little tiny bit here and there that look like weeds that would have been like kind of random. You glue them down, and just the tiny little bit of detail like that here and there adds up to a lot of change to a project like this. I mean, you know, like Boone's page on Facebook, there's so, I mean, this is like amateur hour, well, in general, but the job I did on this is like really low. And like, you know, the buildings that Boone makes are like artwork, and he's got a bunch of apocalyptic looking projects he's done, and I love that stuff. But I don't know, I'm too lazy, I guess, to do it. But I with the amount of zombie movies that I watch and post-apocalyptic whatever I enjoy, it's definitely something I should think about, because that's just about my favorite topic. So yeah, anyway, thanks everybody. 65 people, holy crap. Thank you so much for watching, folks. Give it a thumbs up if you can. If you are not yet subbed, please click the sub button, the subscription button, which is under the video, and then click the little bell to the right of that, which lets you know when I go live, and it gives you a push notification. It might give you an email. It might give you a notification on your phone. It's kind of how you have that set up. But if you sub, it helps out the channel a lot, because, and if you comment and if you like the videos, that really helps YouTube, the YouTube algorithm, let folks know that this is a channel that's active, at a minimum is active, and has content that people comment on. And even the bad comments, I don't think the guys that like to try to trash me realize that even their bad comments help me, because the algorithm sees the comment. So yeah, awesome, guys. Keep it up. No, don't. Go away. Anyway, guys, thanks very much. I really appreciate everybody stopping by and hanging out. Cool. I will, yeah, I'm going to do more of this kind of stuff. I do hope to do more live streams and things. I just happen to have the time tonight to do it, just because. And I figured I'd go live, frankly, just because I had this new project. I wanted to get ready, get this all ready, get the stuff taped, so I can get my track painted. I don't know why I'm doing that. So I can get my track painted, to make it look more like Scaleauto, and then give it a tiny bit more grip. There you go. Yeah, cool, fun stuff. Shouldn't it all be fun? It should be. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. See y'all again soon. And now you get to see my tummy when I close off this computer, or the phone. Yay.